inform, promote, unite. This is JCity Arrow News, your source for local news and information straight to the point. This is a production of JCity Center for Hope and Renewal, rebuilding bridges to better lives, better families, and a better community.
Welcome to the March 2024 edition of the JCity Arrow News podcast. I'm Doug Hancock, and this is Keith Fletcher, and we're here to report some of the exciting things going on in Johnston City.
That's right, Doug. We are proud of our hometown and the people who make it a wonderful place to live.
I agree, and one of the things that makes our town wonderful is the generosity of so many.
Yes, that generosity and the spirit of volunteerism is very evident at the Johnston City Fire Department. They held their annual chili dinner February 24th at the fire station. Chief Tom Burton told me the department is raising funds for new extraction equipment. This life-saving equipment cost about $32,000, and the chili supper raised over $6,000. The event also included a gun raffle and silent auction. As always, the chili and hot dogs were delicious. Here's Assistant Chief Wayne Rice sharing some of his chili cooking tips.
Prepared the chili?
I did.
Okay. Can you share any secrets or any tips for good chili prep?
Early start, let it slow cook.
Oh, how long has this been cooking?
This pot here has been cooking roughly, I want to say maybe 2 hours now.
The chili supper was so well attended that they ran out of chili. Maybe that was because they had someone new advertising for them. Ryder the Rabbit, one of the mascots for the Thrillville Thrillbillies baseball team in Marion. We doubt he'll make the cut as a volunteer firefighter, but he did seem to have a good time.
The fire department does more than cook chili and fight fires. If you call 911 in Johnston City with a medical emergency, someone from the fire department will likely be the first to respond. 80% of Johnston City 911 calls are medical emergencies. Our reporter Tim Hastings interviewed Chief Tom Burton recently to talk about the training each volunteer takes to prepare for those calls.
All of our people have to have, at least in the first 3 months, ICS is what they call it, and that is the Incident Command System Structure.
Okay.
They have to take tests in that, and they have to have at least in their file ICS 100, 200, 7, and 800.
Okay.
Once they have completed that, we get them into possibly an EMR class, into an EMT class, whatever class that they think that they would like to take, along with now doing trainings every week, monthly, and they have to get involved in those trainings, and if they can't, then they try to make them up. 2 people right now going to EMT class, and they're doing it at John A. Logan, and we have one in a paramedic class right now.
Okay. That's fine.
Emergency medical responder.
Sure.
So that's what we do. That's a lower level below EMT, but we can pretty well do everything from there. So we can do CPR, we can stop the bleed, we can take blood pressures, we can do pulse, we can do oxygen checks, we can put oxygen on people. Some of them are not at that EMT level. Sure. We do have 4 of them there right now.
Burton said the firefighters inventory their medical equipment every morning. This is required by the Illinois Department of Transportation. The equipment is stored on board Johnston City spotless fire trucks parked in an equally spotless fire station.
Since 2010, the chief and assistant chief are the only paid positions at the fire department. Everyone else is a volunteer. They're always looking for more help. Young people ages 15 to 21 are eligible to join the department's cadet program. In fact, Chief Burton himself did that over 40 years ago. He joined as a cadet when he was 17 and became a volunteer in 1980. He became a full-time firefighter in 1987 and was appointed fire chief in 2010. The chief hired Wayne Rice as assistant chief just last year. Rice had been a volunteer for 7 years and is now in training to possibly succeed Chief Burton when he retires.
To become a cadet or volunteer, call the station or city hall.
Doug, you know, this crazy southern Illinois weather is terrible for those of us who have sinus problems. But I really have been enjoying the warmer days with sunshine. Do you think spring is almost here?
I certainly do. And in fact, in this issue of the Arrow, we have listed the top 10 signs that spring will soon be here.
Well, let's hear them.
Okay, let's go. Number 10 is the beginning of junior baseball and softball. Now, when I was a little kid, we called it Little League. The city offered several sign-up days last month, but the last of those was February 25th. However, players may still sign up at City Hall if they pay a small late fee in addition to the regular sign-up fee. Now, this program is for boys and girls ages 3 through 15. The Junior League has a Facebook page and a website for more information and the schedule. League leadership will hold a cleanup day at the ball field very soon, and they will need volunteers. The date and time will be announced on Facebook.
And coming in at number 9, the first of the 2 annual fish fries sponsored by the Lions Club. It will be held March 16th, 11 to 2 p.m. at the Masonic Hall. Tickets are $12 and include fish, your choice of 2 sides, a drink, and dessert. The money raised by this event goes towards scholarships for Johnston City High School graduates.
The 8th sign that spring will soon be here is that Down Home Comforts is having a spring open house on March 9th from 9 in the morning till 4 p.m. This home decor, gift, and flower shop is located at 910 West Broadway.
And at number 7, for the little ones who just can't wait to go to preschool next fall, and their parents too, the Williamson County Early Childhood Cooperative is conducting preschool screenings at JCity Church March 6th, 8 to 10:30 a.m. You must call in advance to set up an appointment. The numbers are 618-993-2138 or 618-733-3355. They will give parents a list of required documents to bring. Other screenings will be conducted this month, so if you missed this one or the appointments are all taken, you may schedule on another day in a nearby town. And kids, don't worry about being tested. The screening is like a game that checks your growth, hearing, vision, and such.
Coming in at number 6, and this is a biggie. Spring sports are opening at JCHS and at Washington Middle School. Boys baseball and girls softball begin this month at the high school, and at Washington Middle, girls volleyball opens with a very busy schedule. The co-ed middle school track team is also warming up for a meet at month's end.
The printed edition of the Arrow has a consolidated sports schedule for the month of March, and we've compiled all the high school and middle school games going on this month in one very easy-to-read calendar.
That should be a big help in keeping up with all the spring sports.
That's what we hoped, Doug. But number 5 reminds us that there is a school break coming soon. Students will be out of school for spring break March 11 to 15th. Hopefully, we'll have some nice weather so families can stay in the area and kids can play outside. Maybe do some hiking or even camping during that time.
Speaking of camping, that brings us to number 4. We know that spring is near when Arrowhead Lake Campground reopens, and that will happen on March 15th, just in time for the second weekend of spring break. And last we checked, there are still a lot of sites available for the last couple weeks of March.
I'm glad to hear that, Doug. For those of you who may be watching our podcast from out of town, or if you're new to the area, Arrowhead Lake Campground is one of the hidden jewels of southern Illinois, right here on the east side of Johnston City. The campground offers 65 RV sites with water and electric hookups. The standard rate for RVs and trailers is very reasonable, and discounts are available for veterans, seniors, and campers staying more than 7 days. They also have 2 log-style cabins as well as many tent sites.
And some of the friendliest people and best fishing around.
I know you said that several sites are available in March, but I understand the campground is totally booked for the upcoming solar eclipse, April 5th through 8th. If you call or stop by the campground, though, maybe they will give you some more information and put your name on a waiting list for a spot during the eclipse event. We'll have a lot more information about the eclipse in the next edition of Arrow News. So, Doug, what's the number 3 sign of spring?
It's not exactly local, but it's something we all need to participate in. The Illinois primary election, Tuesday, March 19th. No local races are on the ballot, but Democrats and Republicans will select nominees for president, congressional seats, as well as state and county offices. We have a duty as U.S. citizens to get out and vote.
So true. Every American adult should participate in open and free elections. But the number 2 sign of spring is something just for kids, and in my opinion, more fun than an election.
Now, what could that be?
It's Johnston City's annual Easter egg hunt at the ballpark. Saturday, March 30th, just the day before Easter. Kids from 0 to 12 are invited to this free event sponsored by City Hall, Banterra, and Legion Spanks. There will be a DJ, face painting, and plenty of eggs to go around. Banterra donated prize baskets for each age level. The child who finds the egg with a prize ticket will win a basket. Age groups include children ages 3 and under, 4 to 6, ages 7 to 9, and 10 to 12. Each group will hunt at a different time to make it easier for parents with more than one child to keep up with their kiddos. Of course, the guest of honor will be the Easter Bunny himself.
But all of us need to know that Easter isn't all about that bunny.
You got that right, Doug. And that brings us to the number 1 sign that spring has come to Johnston City.
Celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Easter comes early this year, and local churches are gearing up for the biggest day on the Christian calendar, Sunday, March 31st.
The special week begins on Palm Sunday, March 24th. The Ministerial Alliance will sponsor a community service that evening at 6 at JCity Church. Barry Robertson, the pastor from Washington Avenue Baptist, will be speaking.
Check with the local church of your choice for other special services. Now, we know that First Christian is serving breakfast at 9 a.m. Easter morning and then having an egg hunt for the kids after their morning worship service.
Also, Heritage Fellowship is having an Easter revival beginning Friday night with Greg DeGraves from Cave and Rock. Services will be held Saturday night and Sunday morning.
You know, there are some people who don't go to church very often, and they might think they're just not welcome at an Easter service.
I know that, Doug, but I don't know of any church in our town that wouldn't welcome anyone and everyone on Easter Sunday morning. It's a great day to go to church and hear what has been called the greatest story of all.
Amen. In sports news this month, we want to congratulate some fine students at Johnston City High School. On February 17th, senior Jude Beers placed third in the Class 1A State Wrestling Championship at the State Farm Center in Champaign. Beers, who wrestles at the 250-pound weight class, has gone to state 2 years in a row. And as we mentioned in the trivia contest last month, the math team at JCHS has more state championships than any other team, and they're on their way to state again this year.
The math team won first place at the Class 1A Regional and also brought home a multitude of individual awards. Check out this print edition for all the students' names. Trevor Stanley is the head coach of the math team, and Lenny Clark is his assistant. Carly Page and Brad Cullum also serve as volunteer coaches. Well, Doug, that about wraps it up for this edition of the Arrow News.
Hey, don't forget to mention all of our fine sponsors.
Oh, yes. Thank you to our regular sponsors who underwrite the cost of printing JCity Arrow News. And this month, 2 new sponsors have joined the ranks of our supporters. A shout goes out to Ashton Stevens, our local Edward Jones financial advisor, and to Futiva, a relatively new business serving Johnston City with high-speed internet and phone service for homes and businesses. Actually, without Futiva, you wouldn't be watching this podcast streaming from our studio here in downtown Johnston City.
Join us again next month for the Arrow News podcast, and look for copies of the print edition in our local businesses, churches, and schools.
By the way, we publish the Arrow around the 1st of the month, so get your news and information about upcoming events to us by the 15th. Email items to jcitycenter@gmail.com or call 618-952-1272.
Are you saying that the next issue of the Arrow comes out on April 1st?
No fooling.